so today's video is going to be a little bit different from what you guys are used to on the channel. Over the last 6 years of making YouTube videos, we have amassed quite the collection of vehicles between cars, trucks, motorcycles, a bunch of weird things and a bunch of really cool things. Well, anyways, we filmed a video last year where we did an entire car collection tour and you guys loved it. We have made quite a bit of changes over the last year. We've added some vehicles, sold some vehicles, modified some vehicles, and there's also some vehicles that we've actually never even showed on the channel that we're going to show you guys today. So anyways, this is going to be a longer video than usual, and hopefully we answer all you guys' questions and you guys enjoy what you see. All right, so first off is my 2015 Lamborghini Huracan LP 610-4, 610 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and I absolutely love this thing. Like any kid, I always dreamed about having a Lamborghini, so the fact that I can say I have a Lamborghini is insane still, and I haven't quite got used to it, but it's like the best car ever. I haven't had any issues with it, knock on wood, probably because I've left it mostly stock, so it's on stock suspension, even stock wheels. The only thing I've really added to it is this carbon fiber wing, which I think looks amazing. It ties the entire car together. Some people love it, some people hate it. The other thing that isn't stock about this is the guy that I bought it from put cop lights on it. So I figured out that he used it for rallies. He had it wrapped like in an Italian police car, and he had this cop light system installed for like $8,000. As soon as I got it, I knew that I'd probably get in trouble if I used it, so I disconnected it, and I haven't used it since. Well, I reconnected it because I want to show you guys, because I think it's really cool that this car has it. Are they going? Yeah. Pretty wild. Also super illegal. I've never used them, so don't try and impound my car and throw me in jail. All right, on to the next childhood dream. It's a 2011 Subaru WRX STI wagon hatchback. I put fender flares on it, so I chopped it up. Carbon fiber front lip, carbon fiber side skirts, and a carbon fiber rear wing, and then it's slammed down. So it's like every single bump I hit is like questionably rubbing, and it's not a very smooth ride because I'm super low. Other than that, I didn't really mess with the motor. It's got a built block, a downpipe, it's been tuned, cold air intake, sounds amazing. I'm not gonna drive it this winter, so I kind of just decided I was gonna sell it, which I might regret because it turned out amazing. But that's almost like my favorite part about buying cars, is just buying them to modify, getting the enjoyment out of that, and then selling it because I don't really get too connected to them. So I'll just replace this with something and then modify that. On to my favorite vehicle on the channel right now, the Ranger dually. This thing turned out absolutely amazing. If you guys haven't seen the video, go and check it out after this. But we did this a couple weeks ago where we took this 1999 Ranger and wrapped it, lifted it up 5 inches, and then dually converted it. We all agreed that we wish we would have done it on a nicer Ranger because of how good it turned out. But if you look underneath, this thing's basically falling apart due to rust. We live up in Minnesota. There's salt on all the roads. It destroys vehicles in the winter, and unfortunately this thing has had it rough. But other than that, it looks amazing, rides amazing. It's one of a kind, and it's gonna be a staple for a while. All right, on to, I would say probably one of the shittiest vehicles in the parking lot. This is our Lamborghini Diablo, which is a kit car built on a Pontiac Fiero. It's falling apart on every single angle that you look at this thing, and we'll get to the interior after that. But we bought this car basically as a joke. So we flew to Washington, we picked it up. It was even worse than anyone could have ever imagined. We still bought it. People thought we were crazy, but it's done amazing for the channel. Pulls a lot of views, people love it. And this thing honestly gets more attention than the real Lamborghini, and like every other exotic vehicle over the last year has like gone up in value, and for some reason kit cars have as well, oddly enough. But
ours is trash.
Ours is like so bad, it is like borderline disgusting to even sit in right now.
There's cobwebs in there.
Yeah, so this thing has been sitting outside for the past year. We had like 4 feet of snow sitting on it over the winter. We have not taken very good care of this thing, and I kind of regret that, but it's also a kit car. It's more of a joke. It's basically a joke of the channel, and the entire thing is falling apart. But
it is what it is.
It serves its purpose, and we love it.
Here it is, my new gen Bronco. I pretty much bought this strictly because Ken bought one. Like, I got to test drive his, loved it. Know that it's not something you should really do on the channel, is copy someone and get the same vehicle as them. But I did. You guys know I really love modifying cars, so most of this stuff I did myself. The bumpers, the lights, the grill. Then I got a lift. I got some pretty hot boy rims going on here, some TISs. on like a 4-inch lift, I think. I'm really excited to rip it this winter though, because you guys know how much Ken had to pull you guys out last winter. Might be me this winter. And it's actually pretty funny because Ken has a Bronco Raptor on order, and I also copied him and got a Bronco Raptor on order. So that's gonna be pretty sick too. My favorite part about this thing is definitely the color, the eruption green. They make it on Mustangs and Broncos, and I just love it. This you guys have seen for a while. Got this from my dad. He's no longer with us, and he left, you know, a handful of things for me, and one of them was this car. Again, I love modifying. Wrapped it, changed the color of the wheels, changed a few things, lowered it. Super fun to drive. I don't drive it much, but I definitely can't get rid of it. So it's super fun to just pop the top down and cruise, and you know, just kind of remember him with the car. So definitely keeping this. Something that I'll also be keeping probably for as long as I can think. I'd love to give my kids this car, is this 03 WRX that I converted into an STI. I blew the tranny when I was racing Ken's first Tesla. It was a bad time. I did an STI swap. I don't recommend it. I've said that before. It was a pile of money and then some to get it all working, but now it's sick. It's like one of the only true yellow STIs like in the world right now. There's like, I think two other ones that they did a full swap. Super fun to drive. It's on E85. It's all built. I love driving this thing, and this is definitely like the young high schooler in me that I just love the JDM tuner. I also did like a full interior swap too. So I got all the blue STI seats and everything. So like it's full STI. And so like there's only 2,500 Sonic Yellow WRXs made, but there's only like of an 03 Bug Eye, there's literally only like 2 or 3 of these in the world, I'm pretty sure. And next, yet another car of mine that no one's seen before. It's a drift car. This has been on my bucket list for so long. I want to get a fancy car someday, but I think I want to have some fun. So this is a 350Z LS. It's got a 5.3 LS with a 70-71 precision turbo. It's like, it's got it all. I bought this from our rap guy, Crandall, if you guys have seen him before. And he shipped it up here from Buffalo. And it is the real deal. I definitely am gonna have some fun with this. I might even have to do some donuts around the parking lot with it. But yeah, it's got hood dump. All the internals are built. Got a big old intercooler, big turbo on it. I even threw some fresh baby blue seats. I got the Sicky brake lever, got the NRG set up. This thing has more parts on it than I even know what they mean and stuff. Like the fuel pump's insane. I don't even know. It's on E85. And the thing rips. Also, I was like, yo, Crandall, I want a wing. He's like, I got a wing off my RX-7. And he puts it on. I mean, like, this is a park bench. Look at this.
The entire family could eat underneath that thing.
Dude, actually. But yeah, it's like a dream come true. I for sure have always wanted a drift car. And I definitely got to rip some donuts with this thing. So if you stay to the end of the video, I'm going to rip them right in the middle of all these cars.
That's why we got to wait till the end, because we got to film them before he crashes into them.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my 2012 Ford Raptor that the boys got for me. It was originally silver. They had Crandall come out, wrapped it red, get the 35-inch tires, some sick aftermarket headlights and fog lights. Other than that, she's pretty much stock.
You've had it for about a month. How do you like it?
Dude, I love it. Once we get that power steering figured out.
I totally forgot we haven't replaced that. I'll book an appointment tomorrow.
And this is my old rig, 2009 Chevy Silver Rudy. It's got a 3-inch lift up front, eBay special fender flares, hiding the rust so we don't gotta look at it. Proper set of 22s, and she jumps real good.
All right, on to the Yamaha R6s that we have. You guys are probably confused. Why do you guys have 2 of them? Last time I saw you just had 1. So we bought this one originally because we wanted to film an off-road testing video with it, and then afterwards pull the motor out and put it into Ryan's 4-wheeler that he blew up. So it was gonna be like an R6 4-wheeler build. And we pretty much just fell in love with crotch rockets after filming the video with it because of how well it did off-road. So we were like, damn, I hate to just go without a crotch rocket in case we wanna film another rocket video. So we just bought this one. We bought it for like 3,500 bucks. Got a super good deal on it. It's really clean, and it's basically the identical bike to this one. So I think we're gonna swap the off-road tires over to this one. This will be the off-road rig, and then we're still gonna pull the motor out of this one and swap it into Ryan's quad. But for the meantime, we've got 2 of them. Let me just start this thing up and rev it for you. It sounds so good. So good, dude. I love these rockets. Okay, from the rockets to the limo, the pride and joy of our entire fleet. This thing gets more use than probably all the other vehicles combined.
It's a 2003 Ford Excursion that's been stretched. I don't even know how long, but it's big.
It's big.
It probably fits like, what, 20 people comfortably, and we've had at least 35 in it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice. Come on inside. It may,
I don't know if I'd describe it as nice,
yeah,
but it gets the job done.
it may probably have a family of rats living in it, or mice living in it,
Don't
but
tell that. People aren't gonna want to ride us this anymore.
never mind. It's totally clean. It smells great. The AC and heat totally works.
This is actually the second limo that we've had. The first limo that we had, we found out how awesome limos were, and then we turned that one into a convertible, and then shortly after, a swimming pool. I don't think we could go without having a limo with the fleet, because between all of the guys, so there's 6 of us, we basically all have girlfriends, so right there we're sitting at 12, and then we've got friends. So any given weekend there's like 18 people that gotta get to dinner or go to the bars. We just get a designated driver, draw straws, or we just have a homie that wants to drive, and then kind of shuttles everyone around. It's honestly, I would just consider it a life hack.
Yeah.
Like everyone watching right now, if you guys have a friend group, pile some money together, get a limo, and you'll thank us.
You'd be surprised. They're also not that expensive. I guess if you get some beat up ones like what we have, but
We paid $8 grand for this thing.
which a lot. I mean, that's still a lot of money, but a lot of people think like, oh, limo's got to be expensive, but really $8 grand, not too bad.
You just gotta lower your standards a little bit.
This ain't the same limos that you're gonna be seeing picking you up from the airport in Vegas, but it gets the job done. Next, we got our 2020 Ram 2500. We picked this thing up last winter because we kept getting pulled over in the SEMA truck, which we're gonna talk about next. But we were rolling around stock for I think a couple months, and we just couldn't take it anymore. So we called up our guys over at Custom Offsets, and we did a pretty moderate build, still bigger than most people's normal builds, but but this is moderate, and it turned out amazing. So basically, we threw 5.5-inch zone lift on it, with some 37s for tires, and then the Motive off-road wheels. That's about it, honestly. It's not deleted. I know a lot of people say you should delete it because you get better gas mileage, better obviously power and response and everything, but if something breaks on it, then we can't just bring it in and get it fixed. But anyways, it's like kind of a hop getting into this. I'd say it's actually more difficult than the SEMA truck. Like, you gotta really jump in.
Probably the best part about this truck, it's like our daily use tow rig
This is
truck.
like our work truck.
Our work truck, exactly. So the best part is it's got a mega cab, and dude, this thing is like as big as the limo back here. These seats recline back, you can store stuff behind it, so it's really nice having the space when 5 or 6 of us have to load up. And despite the lift, it drives like a dream. That's why I was always nervous when we started lifting trucks, that they wouldn't drive that good, but I love driving this.
Yeah, speaking of something that doesn't drive like a dream.
Exactly.
The SEMA truck. And actually this thing handles amazing. Like, you're in full control of it at all times. It's just extremely stiff. I actually compare driving this to driving a Lamborghini or my GTR or any other kind of sports car. And the reason why I compare the two is because it's actually a pretty big inconvenience to drive around. For one, it's super illegal, so you are always worried about getting pulled over, which we've been getting pulled over constantly in it. And the tickets are not cheap. They're like $500. And then for two, it attracts a lot of attention. Like, you're not incognito rolling around this thing. I'd say this probably gets the most attention out of anything in the fleet because it's just so big, it's loud. And
can't miss it.
Yeah, you really can't miss it. But it's got some 24-inch Archon wheels on it, 40-inch tires, 8-inch EDS lift with some Fox 2.0 shocks. They've got wheel lights in here. I don't know if you can see them. And we ripped a couple of those off. It's got these lights in the wheel well, which are really sweet. And debatably, the best part, one of the biggest showstoppers of them all, is the drop hitch. People like legitimately will just stare at this for like 20 minutes. It'll just be like this. But yeah, so this was actually built by Custom Offsets for SEMA. They brought it there, I believe, in 2019. Did I say it has train horns?
Train horns, sounds amazing. Sounds like a fighter jet, dude.
Yeah, but it's super easy to get into. That's the thing. Everyone's always like, how do you get into that thing? It's actually easier than most trucks. It's just like a step ladder almost right into it. These running boards are clutch because I actually rode in it when they originally built it and they didn't have the running boards, and I sprained my ankle jumping out of it. I was limping around for like 2 days. Moving on, this is my 2015 Evo X. I've had this car, I don't even know, 4 years now?
Oh, longer than that.
I've always been a big tuner car guy since I was a kid. I think I was just mostly inspired by Fast and Furious with like the street racing and all that. And when I was a kid, I legit thought when I grow up, I'm gonna be a street racer. But anyways, I got this car completely stock. Since I have lowered it, put some Enki RPF1 wheels on, which is super stereotypical for Evo owners, but they just look so good. Carbon fiber all around, from the lips, the side skirts, this vortex generator, which is really sweet. I love that. And then also the diffuser, full exhaust. It's basically got everything on it besides for a bigger turbo and bigger intercooler. But I also got these retrofitted headlights. So the headlights that come with this really aren't that cool. And if you ship your headlights off, this guy will build them with dual projectors, and I can like change the colors of these. So this was the last year that they ever made the Evo, and the 2015s didn't come with the Recaro seats. So I ended up finding a 2014 Evo that a guy had and buying the seats off of him. So I got leather interior with the sunroof and their heated seats, which is extremely rare for an Evo. It's like the perfect mix of just raw tuner car feel, but yet still a little bit of luxury with, you know, the interior. And I just really love this car, and I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it. I don't drive it as much as I'd like to anymore because I got the GTR and my Raptor, which I'll show you in a second. And also I ripped the front lip off of it last winter. I don't know, I just want to keep it nice. I like this car a lot. Moving on. As I said, I love tuner cars. Probably my dream car was a GTR. So it's really been a childhood dream for me to get a Nissan GTR. This is an R35 GTR 2017. I've lowered it on coilovers, new wheels, carbon fiber all around. I just recently put this Nismo wing on the back, and then I have a Nismo bumper that I'm also going to be putting on. The reason why I got the Nismo bumper is because this thing shoots flames, and I actually melted my stock bumper. On top of that, I just think the Nismo looks a lot cooler. Something else that's really cool about this car is the red interior. It's not super easy to find R35 GTRs with the red interior, so I was really happy that I was able to swoop one of these up. The car's on E85, and I believe it makes around 700 horsepower to the crank, so around 590 to the wheels at full boost. And I raced Ben, and I beat his Lamborghini by a hair.
Well, we didn't need to mention that.
So lastly, of my personal vehicles, I actually just recently picked up this 2020 Ford Raptor. It's completely stock. It's just a basic Ford Raptor. I just absolutely love it. I don't have any plans of really doing anything to it. It just drives super nice. I mostly just got it as something to get around from work to back, and also in the winter, I need something that is gonna be reliable and be able to bomb through the snow. Because like I said, I ripped the front lip off the Evo. I got stuck in the GTR. I didn't want to drive the company trucks anymore, put miles on them, so I got this. I actually do have a 2023 37 package Raptor on order, so that should be sweet. It's gonna be white. Big shout out to Park Rapids Ford because they hooked it up, gave me a good deal on this thing. Ryan?
This is my 2022 ZL1 1LE. So the 1LE is the track package ZL1. So it's got the 650 horsepower supercharged motor. So it's an absolute tire melter. I really fell in love with the look of this car and the 1LE package because it's got this sweet like front arrow on it and then the big wing on the back, which really turns this car kind of from like an older man sports car into something that looks like a 25-year-old would want to drive it. A lot of people were asking me if I was going to wrap it because they didn't like the color, but I've really grown to like it because it's unique, it's different. You don't see like a burnt orange car like this that often, so I really like it, honestly. My only complaints with it is when you get the track package, it takes out the normal ZL1 suspension and puts in track focus suspension, so it rides like a brick. Like I don't even think the suspension moves. I have a dash cam, and when I go over railroad tracks, it beeps and it thinks I've been in an accident. So it's quite an aggressive ride, but even though it is a track car, it's got like wireless CarPlay, heated steering wheel, cooled seats, so I really like the creature comforts about it. And the opposite of creature comforts is my 1987 Cabriolet. This car has been in the background of videos for like 2 years, and I'll occasionally see comments where people are like, yo, what's that red Volkswagen in the background? And it always makes me feel so good that people notice this. I picked it up because I wanted a convertible to drive to my house in the summer because it thought it'd just be kind of fun to have something else to whip around in the summer. And I live on like a 5-mile gravel road, so a Camaro doesn't work very well to drive down that. I believe they actually call it Ferrari Red, which I don't know if that's legal, the Volkswagen did that, but it was the 80s, so who knows. And then the white interior, and all in all, it's pretty clean, like in good shape. Not too much rust, but it just works great as a summer beater for me. Classic rock radio station comes in clear. It's got a little subwoofer in the back. Put the top down, feel the wind in your hair. It's great.
You look good, dude.
I get more smiles and attention in this car, and it's probably because people are laughing at me, but honestly, it's just kind of part of it.
All right, so this is my 2021 Bronco Badlands. We went to SEMA last year, and I absolutely fell in love with the Bronco, and I bought the first one that I could find with a dealer that was willing to sell it. Ordered wheels and the lift for it right away. Took like almost a year to get to me, but I got a 3.5-inch BDS suspension lift, and then I forget what these are called, but they're fuel wheels.
35s?
They're 17s on 35s. I'm not gonna mess with the bumper or anything because I got a Bronco Raptor on order now. Hopefully that comes in, but
I'll admit I wasn't a big fan of Broncos, especially after Ken and Micah got theirs and they were bone stock. And then once they lifted them up and then put new wheels on them, I might go as far to say is like these are like some of my favorite vehicles on the road right now.
all right, and then moving on to my other car, it's a 2022 Tesla Model X Plaid. It's my favorite car, I think. It is so fast, you can blow the doors off literally anything.
How fast is 0 to 60?
2.5, and it just like goes all the way to the limit at 150. It is the most fun thing in the world.
And Ken also beat Ben's Lamborghini.
Dude, come on.
If anyone's wondering, it smokes a Lamborghini Huracan. So.
Nobody was wondering, Ken.
Like, it looks like the Lamborghini driver wasn't even racing, but it turns out he was.
All right, okay.
So a lot of people like give the new Teslas hate because of the weird steering wheel, and I kind of felt it for like a couple weeks, but then it's like once you get used to it, it just like makes sense. It honestly feels nice when you're just like cruising at a good speed, and it's just like something to grab onto. It feels good, but it sucks at parking lots, but everywhere else it's great.
It feels like a race car, but you forget it's a minivan.
This thing also can tow a full-size wakeboard boat, for those of you who are wondering. And then it might end up on a tow truck the next day, but it can do it.
All right, guys, brief break in the car tour today to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch is changing personal care with high performance, natural products that of course smell amazing and will have you feeling and looking your best as well. They have a full lineup of products including soaps, hair care, deodorant, lotion, all in manly scents inspired by nature. The holiday season's coming up, so rather than getting someone another pair of socks, get them something that they'll actually want to use. So give the gift of upgraded self-care, a sensory experience during the holidays. I like to keep it old school, so my favorite Dr. Squatch product is a good old-fashioned bar of soap. So now that I smell amazing, I want to stay smelling amazing, so my second favorite, the Wood Barrel Bourbon Deodorant. This stuff's aluminum-free and keeps me sweat-free all day. Dr. Squatch offers multiple different bundles to suit everyone's needs, including some special holiday bundles with limited edition holiday scents. Seriously guys, I cannot stress how good this stuff smells, and it's made with the finest ingredients Mother Nature has to offer. So new customers can get 25% off orders of $40 or more using our code DSQ Cboystv25. Click the link in the description below, pop that code in. Big thanks to Dr. Squatch for sponsoring the video. Back to the car tour.
All right, we're gonna make our way inside here to the off-road side of the tour. So we'll start with the RZR, 2021 Polaris RZR 4-seater. We got it about a year ago at this point, and it was our first 4-seater that we had gotten. And we didn't really know what to think because technically you'd think a 4-seater would be like less fun than a 2-seater, less maneuverable. I go as far to say is the opposite. Like it jumps amazing because it levels out in the air, and you can fit all the homies in. We've had a lot of good times with this RZR. And then we had Function Power Sports come and do a build on it. TIS wheels, Kenda tires, a winch, bunch of DRT stuff for cosmetics, and then some lights.
Jeez.
So bright. So this is a tiger tail. Basically just pulls out and then goes right back in. Probably half the amount of times that we use the RZR, we're using the tiger tail to pull something home that breaks. So that comes in clutch so often. Shout out Glenn for that one. I know he wanted that. And then the exhaust. This thing sounds amazing. So this thing's got an Evolution Power Sports valve exhaust. So I'll start it up. Pretty quiet when it's closed. And then you can open it up. And it gets way louder. Now onto the pit bikes. As you can tell, we're pretty obsessed with pit bikes. We just got to the point where if we found one brand new from a dealership, we would buy it because people were asking like $1,000 more for used ones because these things like are insane in the market right now. So we bought 4 brand new pit bikes last week alone. But when we get them, pretty much everything we do on them. I'll just pull this one out for example. Stiffer front springs, a stiffer rear spring, a little rear extender so it sits up about 2 inches taller, bigger bars, a light bar, and then a pipe. All in, it converts this bike over and somebody like 250 pounds could ride it. And that's why we love doing giveaways with them, because basically anyone can enjoy it. And then a couple of them, we have like tuned ECUs to get a little bit more power out of. I don't know how much that does, but I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's also really fun to mod them. I don't know if this is technically everyone's or Ken's, because we technically gifted it to Ken after I may have smashed a cake into his face and burnt his eye. So this was the apology gift that we got him. It's a Tesla Cyber Quad. I think there was like 2,000 of them made, a really small amount of them made, so they're really hard to find. But yeah, it's just like a little electric quad.
It is for children though. Supposedly they are going to make a Cyber Quad for adults, which we for sure will be getting.
All right, on to the bigger quads. We'll kind of speed run through these. 2001 Yamaha Banshee, 2014 YFZ 450R, and then a 2006 YFZ 450. So the race versions, kind of the more trail version, and then the two-stroke. This thing we're doing a build on, so we have all new suspension, all new A-arms, we're gonna widen it out. I think we're gonna powder coat everything white, make it look a little bit cleaner. Kind of hate the purple. But anyway, look forward to that build on the channel. And I'll let Mike take over on the bikes.
So right now we got a pretty decent setup of bikes. I bought this 150 to do wheelies on. I don't ride it much because it's like a little too small for the big track, but it is super fun. If you guys know, like this bike is really easy to do wheelies on. Ben just picked up this 2023 Honda 250. Like it's like the most dialed bike ever. If you could get your hands on one of these, this thing is just clean from start to finish. Super good on the track. Unless you compare it to the Yamahas. No, Evan and I both picked these up. You guys maybe saw. We love these things. They're like right off the showroom floor. We like blinged them out, but other than that, like they rip on the track and they do really good wheelies too. So pretty good setup of bikes here.
All right, now onto my 2019 CRF 450 RX dirt bike that we converted into a trike. So they stopped making trikes in the 80s, so people are pretty surprised to see this thing because it's basically a modern day trike. They stopped making them because they're glorified death traps, and this thing is nothing but. It is extremely sketchy to ride, especially being that it's a 450, but it's a lot of fun. We've pretty much ripped the shit out of it, and it's held up pretty good, but I think the kit alone was like $8,000, so between the bike and the kit, you're definitely in a pretty penny, but for us it was, you know, easy to justify with the content that we've made from it. So from the modern day trike to the old school trike, I think this thing's like an 85 or something. 185, it's Gavin's trike that he left here. I think he just left it here so he'd have an excuse to come back, but that's all right. We love Gavin, so we're holding on to this thing until he comes back to get it. Now on to another trike that is not what it's supposed to be, but what we turned it into. This is a 2003 Honda Valkyrie road motorcycle that was converted into a trike. We bought it as like a road trike, and then we threw the 33-inch tires on it, a rear dirt bike tire in the front, and then took it off-roading. In doing so, we blew the clutch out of it, and now it won't move. So we still have to get that fixed, but other than that, this thing is an absolute ripper. Sounds amazing. And I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it in the future. And then another off-road vehicle that is not supposed to be an off-road vehicle. This is a 2004 Harley Davidson Sportster that we threw some knobby tires on and then took it off-roading. Let's see, what's wrong with this one? Oh, blew the clutch out, and then I think we also may have blown out the transmission, so we have to get those fixed. This one is still kind of in limbo mode, what we're gonna do with it.
All right, moving on. Here we have 3 shifter carts, or I guess 2 shifter carts. One of them is a DD2. So what makes it a shifter cart is if it has a clutch and then 5 gears. But we got these 2 here. We've had this since the very beginning of the channel. I think this was like the 3rd video we ever made, was our homie Jake picking this up and us ripping it on the highway. And then this guy is probably the most modern one we own. It's a DD2. And it actually runs really well. The only problem is it doesn't really slide like the other ones, being that it's only got 2 gears. It's more so like just made for top speed. Each one of these carts does around like 74 miles an hour. So really fun and kind of scary. So if you guys saw a couple videos ago, we surprised Gavin, our 3-wheeler buddy, with this Moto Mojo. Reason why we surprised him with it was because this is actually a 3-wheeler. So basically this thing is a 3-wheeler moped, but it's got a lock on it. So right now, it's locked, and like I'm pushing it, won't tip over. Won't tip over. But now if I take the lock off, it'll tip over. Isn't it weird? Like it's pretty impressive, and I don't know what year it is. It runs like crap. Gavin was going to drive this all the way home to Colorado. We're in Minnesota, and didn't run good enough, so we had to get him a ticket.
This is his though.
Yeah, this is his, and he has to come back and get this as well. It did suck because like our whole plan was like, this thing is cheaper than a plane ticket for him to go home, so we'll surprise him with it, and then he can just ride it home. We save money, he feels like he got a nice gift, but now it didn't work, so we were out the money on this and the plane ticket, but it's all good. And then this is Ryan's Raptor 700R. It's been on the channel since just about the beginning. He blew the motor on it, and we're gonna be swapping the off-road R6 motor into this, hopefully this winter. That should be crazy. We got 2 racing lawnmowers. I don't know if you guys remember, it was just a small bit in a video a while ago. This used to be purple. We basically picked up this racing lawnmower off of Facebook Marketplace and got ripped off. The guy just said it was a great machine, and we drove it down the road and it blew up. Our buddy Brian basically rebuilt the head, and then we ended up like bending a rod or the piston grenaded. I don't know exactly. We were driving it down the road, filming a video with this, which a couple subscribers came and surprised us with. Unfortunately, the chain drive, the way it's designed right now, it doesn't work, and we weren't really able to rip it, and that one blew up during the video while we were trying to rip this one, and that video has never been released. So if someone can figure out a way to basically just make this chain drive work, we could rip this thing, and I think it'd be a lot of fun because it looks sick. It's got an e-brake, hood stack, a wing. We love wings, and yeah, so maybe something in the future. For the time being though, we just have this beautiful shop ornament.
Of course, we got the trusty KTM snow bike. It's a 2013 450. I don't put this thing back to wheels anymore because like you have to do so much to get these things to actually work well and perform well in the snow, but now it does. So it makes a great snow bike. It makes a pretty shitty water bike, and it makes a pretty decent submarine, I'd say. We've tried water skipping a few times. At this point, we have hung it up. At least with this setup, we've hung it up because he sunk it in the middle of the pond, like in the deepest spot, tore it all apart, ran a ton of oil changes through it, and now
this thing was hydro locked.
Yeah,
it was fully locked.
Thanks for making it to the end of the video. We're trying to hit 2 million before the end of the year, so go subscribe and watch me do some donuts.